It was a rainy evening when Ariba stepped into the house, drenched, shivering slightly, with her long hair clinging to her back. Her eyes caught Zion's, her stepbrother, who stood near the window, watching the rain in silence. Their eyes locked for a moment longer than usual. Ever since Ariba's mother had married Zion's father 2 years ago, they had shared the same roof, but never really shared anything else. They weren't blood-related, but society had tied a label around them. Stepbrother and stepsister. But labels rarely understood emotions. Zion was quiet, mature, and intense. He rarely spoke much, yet his presence filled every room he entered. Ariba, on the other hand, was fiery and vibrant, yet vulnerable underneath. She had always noticed Zion's eyes on her when he thought she wasn't looking. He never crossed a line, but something between them buzzed with unspoken energy. That night, the power went out. The rain lashed against the windows. Thunder echoed through the halls. Their parents were out of town on a business trip. Only the two of them were home. Ariba sat on the couch with a blanket, trying to distract herself with a book, but her mind kept wandering to Zion. She could hear him moving around in the kitchen. The flicker of a candlelight danced along the walls. Suddenly, he appeared in the living room, holding 2 mugs of hot coffee. "Thought you could use this," he said, handing her a mug. "Thanks," she whispered, their fingers brushing. The warmth of the coffee couldn't compare to the electricity that ran through her at his touch. They sat in silence for a while, sipping their drinks, occasionally stealing glances. The room grew quieter. The candlelight cast golden shadows on Zion's face, highlighting his sharp jawline, the soft stubble that lined it, and the depth in his eyes. Ariba dared to ask, "Do you ever feel strange about us?" Zion looked at her carefully. "Strange how?" "Like we're pretending to be something we're not. Like we're holding back." Her voice trembled slightly. Zion put down his mug, his gaze now fixed on her. "All the time." Her breath caught. He continued, his voice softer now. "But it's not wrong to feel something, Ariba. What's wrong is pretending we don't." Her eyes welled up. "I thought I was the only one." Zion moved closer, but slowly, as if afraid he might break the delicate fabric between them. "You're not," he whispered. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was filled with a storm of emotions neither of them could put into words. His hand reached out and gently tucked a damp strand of hair behind her ear. Her skin burned where his fingers grazed. Ariba closed her eyes, leaning into his touch. Then she pulled back slightly, uncertainty clouding her face. "What are we doing, Zion?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he leaned his forehead against hers. "I don't know, but I can't stop feeling it. Every time you walk into the room, every time you laugh, every time I see you sad and want to fix it, I feel something I shouldn't. But I do." Tears escaped her eyes, and he wiped them away with his thumb, lingering just a moment too long. His lips brushed her forehead in a gentle kiss that felt more like a confession. Ariba whispered, "I don't want to pretend anymore." That was all it took. Their lips met, not in haste, but in hesitation, wonder, and release. It was a kiss years in the making. A kiss that held everything they had buried deep inside. Her hands found his shirt, gripping tightly as if afraid this moment would disappear. He held her close, carefully, like she was fragile glass. But just as their closeness deepened, a sudden knock on the door shattered the moment. They broke apart, breathless. Zion stood, alert. "Stay here." He went to the door cautiously. Ariba followed slowly, heart pounding. It was a man, a stranger, soaked from the rain, holding an envelope. "For Zion Mirza," the man said, handing it over and leaving without another word. Zion tore it open. His face paled as he read. Ariba stepped closer. "What is it?" He looked at her, then the envelope. "It's DNA results." Her brows furrowed. "What do you mean?" "My father had this test done secretly before he left. He always had doubts." She grabbed the paper, reading it. Her hands began to shake. "This says we're not related at all. Not even step-siblings." Zion nodded. "Apparently your mother and my father never legally married." And I'm adopted. We're not tied by blood or law. Ariba sank to the floor. So all this time we lived like siblings. Carried this guilt. And it was all based on a lie. Zion knelt beside her. Maybe fate wanted to test us. See if our connection could survive confusion, guilt, and silence. She looked at him, the weight of truth settling in. So, what does this mean now? She asked, vulnerable. He cupped her face gently. It means we're free. Free to feel, to love, without shame. Their lips met again, more urgent this time, desperate to reclaim what they had denied. Ariba's hands slid into his hair, pulling him closer, their bodies pressing in a rhythm they didn't need to rehearse. He whispered her name like a prayer against her skin. Hours passed like minutes. The rain outside faded into a gentle drizzle. Wrapped in each other's arms on the couch, a blanket covering them both, they lay in silence, bare in emotion, clothed only in truth. I was scared, Ariba said softly, of what people would think, of what I thought was wrong. Zion kissed her hand. We only owe the truth to ourselves. And now that we know it, we can live it. Their story wasn't ordinary. It was messy, tangled in what-ifs, but rooted in something real. A connection deeper than flesh, older than logic. They were two souls who had mistaken their bond for forbidden love, only to discover it was always meant to be. As dawn crept through the windows, Ariba smiled for the first time without restraint. Zion pulled her closer, and in the soft morning light, nothing else existed. Only them, finally unburdened.